another episode of the Resurrection class. I'm not streaming today. I'm not streaming, so we don't have to worry about trying to meet me or find me everywhere. I'm right here on YouTube, and I will disperse from here. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in and always staying involved in whatever it is that your brother is doing at the time. I want to thank you. But today, family, I just want to ask a couple of questions, and I want you to give me your feedback on it because I've thought about it long enough, and I just want to see what you think. Why do we let the opinions of other people shape the way we live our lives? I've caught myself worrying about what people might think before I tried something new. I've, caught myself worrying about what people think before, I start planning. But and even when it was something I knew I needed to do, and honestly, it was exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. Think about it, man. How often have you held back on something that you could have changed in your life, but just because somebody else said something else, they judged you for it, you backed out? I remember I hesitated at one time, at one point in my career, to launch my first digital product. And because I kept imagining all my critics and their products being a lot better than mine. But the moment I pushed past that, and the moment I pushed past the fears that I had, everything started moving. Everything started changing. Everything started growing. And when you faced with that kind of hesitation, it's a lesson for you. It's not a stop sign. And that's not my message tonight. It was on my heart, and I wanted to share that with you, man. Somebody may need to hear that. But it definitely was on my heart and mind. Family, it's so much going on right now all over the United States. And everybody have a situation that they either dealing with, or a situation that they got somebody else around them dealing with, and they trying to figure it out. This is a hectic time of year. Prices are high. They don't want to give out overtime. You trying to work 2 or 3 jobs just to feed the family, and wondering how you gonna make ends meet, wondering how you gonna get these kids something for Christmas. And that can be stressful. That can be really, really stressful. So what I try to do, man, is give encouragement to those who are still in there. If that's you, stick in there. Don't let nothing stop you from your progress. And even though it's hard right now, you can't stop. You can't give up. You can't quit. You can't slow down. You can't do none of that. Stay where you are. Stay grounded. Stay prayed up. And man, we'll make it. We'll definitely make it. As I'm letting my live start to grab its algorithms and send my live out, I planned something for you all that I'm trying to gather so that I don't miss anything. But I don't want to miss anything. That's a value that I need to be sharing with you all tonight. Because I worked so hard to try to plan these courses and things of that nature. But I don't want to plan them and then don't have things ready to offer to you correctly so that you can go out and implement these things. Okay? See if I can set this up just a little bit better. There we go. All right. You know, I don't know how a lot of you gonna feel about this. Some of you are my friends in real life. Some of you are subscribers. Some of you are just scrolling past and you'll hear me say something. But I'm gonna say it. And for those of you who can't handle the truth, I'm very sorry that you are built like that. And that me just stating a simple fact won't allow you to accept a truth that don't sit right with you. But I'm gonna say it. How many of you were taught that slavery started in 1619? How many of you that are tuning in were taught that slavery started in 1619? Be honest. Was it your school that taught you that? Was it the textbooks? Was it documentaries? Was it social media? Who taught you that slavery began or started rather in 1619? Was it the history pages? Who taught you? 1619, right? Now here's the problem. When something is repeated long enough, it stops sounding like information after a while. It starts sounding like fact after a while. But today we're not here to simmer the truth, or we're not here for what sounds right. We're here to say exactly what is right. Our lives depend on it. Our minds depend on it. And our future depends on it. Those of you who are tuning in, I believe you're here for the right reasons. And because of this story being so deep, I'm going to try my best to articulate it in the best path that I know how. Plain and simple, our story did not begin in 1619. And it definitely did not begin with indentured servitude. Our beginnings didn't start with us being slaves. Our treatment, our conditioning, our systemic dehumanization, it really began in 1555. You say 1555? Why didn't nobody teach me that? That's 64 years. That's 64 years that you and I, if I'm correct, and I am, as taught to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you can go and look these things up now yourself. Once you understand this, you'll never see history. You'll never see yourself. You'll never see anything the same way again. Okay? Now, before somebody gets uncomfortable again, let me say this clearly. This is not about hating anyone. And anyone who knows me knows I'm not a hater. And I'm not a hypocrite. So this is not about hating anymore. This is not about rewriting history for emotions. This is about connecting true dots. This is about correcting a timeline that was intentionally misaligned. Because when you shift, family, the start date, you shift the responsibility. Okay? You shift the accountability. And you also shift the psychology, the psychosis. And that part, that was not accidental. It was very much so strategic in its calculation. If you never heard 1555 mentioned in relation to our history, drop a question mark in the comments. Yeah, I thought so. Let's rewind. In the mid 1500s, Europeans in Europe itself is already knee-deep in an empire building. Portugal, Spain, England, the Netherlands. Africa is not some lost continent at this time, okay? Africa at this time of 1555 is organized. Africa is trading. Africa has universities. In year 1555, Africa had kingdoms. In year 1555, Africa had laws and systems. Okay? And Europe knows this. Europe knew it. So what they also know is is they can't compete fairly with a country like that. So instead of cooperating with the people, the native people there, they chose the domination route. And, by 1555, documented systems of capturing, transporting, branding, renaming, and selling our people in Africa are already in motion. I'm just taking you through the timeline. Not experiments, not accidents, systems. That matters. Because systems don't start overnight, family. You can't build a system overnight. A system is strategic. It takes time. It takes the mental capacity to put in the work to understand what makes one thing connect to another. That matters. They are planned systems. They're tested. They're refined. They're optimized. Meaning, by the time we hear about 1619, the machine was already well oiled up and running smoothly, if you will. Now, here's where the lie comes in. We are told, well, in the beginning, it wasn't really slavery. It was indentured servitude. Let me translate that. That's like saying, I didn't rob you. I just permanently borrowed everything you own, even your name, even your wife, even your family, permanently. Indentured servants had contracts, time limits, legal recognition. They had names. We had none of that. Absolutely none of it. It's a fact. And from the beginning, we were property. And property doesn't get freedom on paper. Property doesn't get freedom papers. Property doesn't inherit land. Property doesn't have a future at all. Property is only a use. And that system did not start in 1619. It started decades earlier. And, let's talk about the real reason this matters. Because some folks would say, why dig up old history? Why not just move on? Why not just let things go? Why bring up things that hurt me? If you want to be my friend. If you tell a people their suffering started later than it did, just think with me. You shorten the perceived damage. You shorten it. And if you shorten the damage, then, you minimize the trauma. And if you minimize the trauma, you can blame the people for not getting over it. Do you understand? And that's not history, family. That's psychology. That's gaslighting. On a generational scale, that's gaslighting. You understand? If this is making sense so far, family, please subscribe to this page. Hit that share and like button. And please share this truth. And share your truth in the chat. And I'll wait for you. But let's talk about our names, because names carry memory, names carry spirit. When you strip a people of their names, you erase their lineage. That process didn't magically appear in America, okay? By the 1500s, Africans were already being renamed, reclassified, reduced to inventory, and listed as cargo. Not humans, cargo, chattel, slaves. This wasn't random, family. This wasn't just a part of history. This was done purposefully. It was identity warfare. Erasure. If I can't remember who I am, family, I can't organize. I can't resist. I can't reclaim. And once that becomes normal to me and to those around me and that look like me, the body is enslaved first. Then the mind follows that later. This is to those who don't understand the condition of many of us as Black people. And I'm trying my best to help you to understand that, and why some of you may not like what you see when you look at us, or at our condition, or the way that we live and the way that we treat each other, our murder rate amongst each other. This wasn't just, racism. This was economics wrapped in ideology. Free labor fuels empires that still thrive even to this day. Dehumanization justifies theft. It justifies it. And to justify theft is wrong. By the time America enters the picture, man, Europe has already tested the model. They perfected the logistics. They normalized the brutality. America didn't even invent slavery. America inherited a system that was already profitable. So again, 1619 wasn't the beginning. It couldn't have been the beginning. And we know that. Those of us who know that. It was more like a handoff. Think of it like this. 1619 wasn't the first episode. It was season 2. And somehow they skipped season 1 and told us, don't worry about the backstory. No. We need the whole series, America. We can handle it. We big people. Now, I know somebody's thinking God allowed it. And if God allowed it, it was his will. Let me say this carefully. God did not design oppression. No, he did not. Men did that. A real low type of man. And anytime religion is used to silence truth instead of expose the lie, it stops being faith at that very moment. And it starts being a tool used, as one of my resurrection class students said today, used to benefit those who know it's a tool. Truth doesn't fear investigation. So you see your young brother Yahya always bold and fearless when it comes to standing up on certain things. It's because I'm learning that truth doesn't fear investigation, confrontation. It doesn't fear it. Only lies do. So why don't they teach 1555? Why? Because it raises uncomfortable questions that I don't think many of us are ready in this country. Black people are ready for the truth. But the one who holds the truth, they are not ready to tell it. Questions like, who benefited the longest? Who built wealth the earliest? Who normalized the cruelty first? Who normalized, who trained the system before America even existed? Who trained it? Those questions don't fit neatly into your little textbooks, okay? And in school. So they trim the timeline. They don't tell you these things as you're coming up. History edited for comfort. It always costs someone their clarity. And guess who pays the price? Yep, that's right. And I'm telling you, man, if history is written by the victors, what happens when the survivors, finally speak up, finally start saying exactly what has happened? Exactly. Now I'm going to bring it to today. If our exploitation started earlier than we might have thought it did, and it did, our resilience is deeper. Our trauma is a lot older. Our brilliance is longer. And our survival is more intentional than we were told that it was, which means you're not behind. You're not in last place. You're carrying more weight than you were meant to carry. And you're still standing. Think about that. You are still standing. And I'm proud of you. That alone should change how you see yourself. That one thing. And this information isn't meant to make you angry. It's meant to make you aware of something that's truthful. Go and Google the year 1555. Go and Google Sir John Hawkins, year 1555. Go and Google the contradiction of 1555 and the year 1619. Go and Google it. And then come back and tell me what you think. This is made to make you aware, because awareness only leads to connection and correction. And correction leads to strategy. And see, when you have a strategy, strategy will always lead you to your independence. So, peace, brother. Yes, sir. Peace to you, brother. And so, and your independence. That's what they've always really truly feared, my brother, is not the fact that if we come into the truth, that we'll do something bad to people, because they don't really believe that. They know we don't have that kind of mindset. They know that if we come into the knowledge of what has happened and what we should do in this time, that we will come together, we will unify, and the economy, the very geographical financial system will change. And Just remember this. We didn't start as slaves. We were made into slaves. And that process began long before America had a name. 1555, family, was not just a date. It was not just a date. Thank you, brother. This is my new one of my this is one of my I'm so blind, brother. I should have worn my glasses. But Eli McDonald, sir, is one of my new subscribers, family. And Soul Tribe is a very, very powerful frequency that we have amongst us. And I'm grateful for all of you, but I want to let you know that if you're looking for a brother that you can lean on and depend on for an encouraging word, please subscribe to this brother's page, follow him on Facebook, and I can get you those links. Please go to Eli Joseph on Facebook, and you can find my brother there, and we're gonna link up together. Okay? Yeah, family, this is not to make any of us upset. It's just a reminder. A reminder that our story is older, deeper, and more powerful than what we were handed. And the moment we reclaim the full timeline, we start to reclaim ourselves. It's not about hating anyone. It's about who was once in hatred of us and us coming into the knowledge of that hate and how that hate created a system based on hate. And we have to learn how to operate around it. This is your brother Yahya with another episode of the Buried in a Shallow Grave in the Resurrection class. I'm not streaming, but I'm dueling. So I shared it to the group, the Buried in a Shallow Grave group, and we just gonna keep on going. This was one of the most different lives. I usually don't do lives like this, but based on my content that I've been posting, I got a video that's almost at 8,000 views, and I just posted it this morning, and it's because of the topic. And so I wanted to, that's right, brother, unlearn and relearn. Facts. Unlearn and relearn. Yes, sir. Hey, and I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful for the privilege to serve as a humble servant who's striving to stand up for truth every day of my life. And I'm not here to be anything other than your little brother. I'm no prophet. I'm no preacher. I am no bishop. I am nothing of the sort. I am a student of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And as a student, I am a lover of truth, and I don't have a hateful bone in my body. It's just as simple as that. What I hate is evil. What I hate is hypocrisy. What I hate is racism. What I hate is gentrification. What I hate is redlining. What I hate is putting the darker against the lighter. What I hate is making that system last for 400 years. What I hate is the power of the Willie Lynch letter. What I hate is you think you're an American. What I hate is you think you're a Republican or a Democrat. When our brother Malcolm said that we're neither and we should be smart enough to know. Now, I love what America stands for. She's a sovereign country that has her own flag. And as a man who wants my own flag and my own country, I have to respect the fact that that flag represents just that to someone, but not to me. I cannot pledge allegiance to a flag in truth and not think about all the suffering and pain and heartache and death that me and my people have been through. Every time I hear the song, uh, it makes me wonder, how truthful are we being with ourselves when we sing it? It's almost like a gospel song. The song is good, but how much of the song are we really taking in? It's very hard for me to be joyous over bombs bursting in air when those same bombs bursted in the air in Oklahoma over the land of my people, who all they wanted to do was create a community in which they could survive and thrive and pool and become a community. And someone that saw them that were not the same as them in terms of a color saw them as a threat. And so when you say bombs, the bombs bursting in air, to one man that could mean joy. But to me, I have mixed emotions. If I'm honest and truthful with myself, it's mixed. And so instead of me trying to fit a truth into myself that I know is not really intended for me, makes me feel like a hypocrite. And I don't want to be a hypocrite. And so I must come out from that thinking, that mindset, and realize that God has a flag for me. And if I do represent the God, then it's a flag that you can't put on no cloth. This very earth is my flag. The sun, the moon, and the star is my flag. And when properly understood, it represents me very well. This is your brother Yahya with another episode of The Buried in the Shallow Grave. I thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to get over here and create some content. And I will be tuning in to you guys in another day or two. We'll do another live. And that live will be based on our curriculum. I think our study, if you give me a second, I'll tell you exactly what we're going to be talking about in our next live. Our next live will be about our inferiority complex. Peace.